Cool. Good evening, peeps. This is Ariel Grace from A Gang of Girls Radio, and we're going to do our Facebook Live event here. We're going to be talking about Dia De Los Muertos, or Day of the Dead, and All Saints Day, Dia de los Inocentes, and it's, hey, Mary, hey, Ashu, hi, Bonnie, hi. So we're going to talk about that tonight. It's going to be cool because I know a little bit about it. I lived in California as a child, and so we saw some of the Day of the Dead, like parades and things like that, which was really cool. And their tradition aligns up with European or American. Hey, Della. Celebrations of the Day of the Dead as well, because we do celebrate that. So All Saints Day. So we're going to talk about that tonight. Hey, Jacqueline. Hey. So, hey, there's my bro, Theo. Okay, so before we get started though, I have some announcements. First of all, the newsletter went out today. So a bunch of you got it. Please look at it because there's some dates there that you might be interested in. One, on the 30th and the 31st, Haunted: A Psychic Story, the Kindle version, is going to be for free on Amazon. So check that out. All right? And see if you want to download it. Remember, if you have a tablet, you can get the Kindle app, download the book from the Kindle app. It's pretty easy. Kindle app is free. Yeah. Okay, so that's happening the 30th and 31st. I'll be posting all across social media on that day that it happens, or both days. Okay, second thing is I'm doing my November special because it's going to be my birthday. And so I always celebrate my birthday with you, doing the November special, which is $60 for 45 minutes. So if you wish to book a session, even if you want to book it at the end of the month, please make sure to email me at agangofgirlsinc@gmail.com and book your session now. Because I'm getting booked already, and it's yay cool. So do that. And then also Clearing with Purpose, A Psychic Story, the Goo and Cooties book, is going to be available for Kindle on November 6th. It's available in paperback right now. You can go look it up on Amazon. It's called Clearing with Purpose, A Psychic Story. Okay? All right. I'm going to see if I can get I'm Psychic Not Telepathic for free around the 1st of November, so I haven't been able to do it yet, but I'm trying to do that, so I'll let you know. All right, so if you want to sign up for my newsletter, please go to arielgrace.net, sign up for the newsletter. I send it once a month, and if you want the newsletter forwarded to you, let me know. Send me an email, agangofgirlsinc@gmail.com, and I'll forward this newsletter to you. All right. For those of you who are wanting to speak to a psychic medium, you need to get a hold of my bro, Theo, Psychic Theo at psychictheo.com, because he can assist you with closure. He can assist you with communicating with your people that have passed through the veils. Okay? All right. All right. And for those of you who want an astrology consult, please get a hold of Rockin' Reverend Rhonda. She's awesome, and you can get a hold of her at karmiclaw.com. And I think her next book is coming out as well. So you may want to check out Rockin' Reverend Rhonda. I think that's all of my, announcements. So now the Day of the Dead is not just like one day. Okay, it's not just Halloween. It isn't. It's actually a couple of days. So the first day can be Halloween Day. Most of the time it's November 1st and November 2nd. So it goes from Halloween 10/31 to 11/2. Okay? So it is a Mexican and South American holiday. It is. It's a really cool holiday though, because it's really festive. They're celebrating their ancestors. And Americans do the same thing. They celebrate their ancestors too. Probably not as colorful though, right? When I was a little girl, my mom used to take us to Olivera Street in LA because I was raised in California, and we were raised in LA County, and so there's a street in downtown LA. It's called Olivera Street. If you ever visit Los Angeles and you want to visit Olivera Street, please make sure to be careful while you're down there because it is not in the best area. But the food there is so good. And they do an awesome celebration of the dead. Dia de los Muertos. They do a parade. They do it up good. They celebrate, and music, and they put costumes on, looking like their ancestors. So, hey, Courtney. So, if you can go to a Day of the Dead celebration, check it out because it is a fun celebration. It's not like sad, okay? They're celebrating and happy because their ancestors are with them, because this is what they see that the veils are thin, and so they're celebrating that. So they do the things that their ancestors would have liked to have done, So whether it's cooking or whatever, and they're creative, they create these beautiful floats, they create these beautiful altars, they dance, and it is really an awesome thing to see. So, because there are a lot of Mexicans here in America, yes. Hey, Kevin. We get to see their colorful traditions, and I since I was raised in LA, I know a lot of Mexican people. I knew a lot of Mayan people, and they were pretty awesome people. They were, and they were happy people. Yeah. All right, so what they do is prayers and remembrances of friends and family members, all right, during these days. So All Souls Day, which is 11/2, November 2nd, it commemorates the souls of Christians who have died, souls of the children. Okay, so wait a second. So it commemorates, All Souls Day commemorates the Christians that have died. So that's a day where the Christians go and they celebrate their dead. So you'll see people on November 2nd like going and clearing up the graveyards and cleaning the areas. And the Mexican people do that too for Dia de los Muertos. They go in and they clean the graveyards, and they may even put flowers. Most of the time, it's marigolds that they place on their grave sites. Marigolds represent life, and marigolds represent life in many cultures. They use marigolds for many different things. So this is something to remember too. If you're creating an altar, or if you're going to go out and clear grave sites in that, marigolds represent life. It's the color yellow. Isn't that cool? I found that out. I thought that was pretty neat. I was like, wow, I love yellow. All right, so on 11/2, what happens is the Christians believe that the children come first. And so those children that have departed, those souls come to see us first, the children, and then they're followed by the adults who have passed on as well. This happens for the Mexican people on 11/1, November 1st. It is Dia de los Inocencia, which is the day of the innocents, or the day of the children, where that's when they commemorate or they celebrate those children who have passed on. Okay, so that's 11/1. 11/2 is the day where they celebrate the adults. And I thought that was pretty cool that the kids have their own day. They celebrate their children. All right, so the similarities between like Halloween, Dia de los Muertos, and Dia de los Inocencias, and All Saints Day is Halloween got its costuming and the masquerade balls and the trick-or-treating and all that stuff from Dia de los Muertos and All Souls Day. So because of the traditions of each culture going in and dressing up as their ancestors. And so you'll see this actually all around the world on 11/1 and 11/2 is that is when the cultures are celebrating their dead. So they're honoring them. They're giving to them, they're giving them love. And this is also the time when they know instinctually and intuitively that this is the time when the veils are thin and that they may even be able to see those souls as well or hear from them, or even, just be able to feel them. And so if you have somebody who has passed on, you also may be able to, depending on the connection, you may also be able to connect, feel, see, or hear them. Okay? So don't freak out. If you're doing all this stuff, I've been recommending everybody build an altar for those people who have passed on, and the Japanese people do this, and the Chinese people also do this. They get a picture. Hi, Rebecca. They take a picture of the person who has passed on. They put marigolds or they put flowers down, and they put things on the altar that the person liked. Like I saw one where the father loved baseball. So they made this huge altar. They put a big picture of him. They put his bat, his mitt, his glove, and all of those things that he loved, like he had a baseball that had been signed, I think, by the Dodgers or something. And then they had all these other like little trinkets because he liked to play bingo. And he had all these little troll things that he would take with him to play bingo because it was good luck. So if you have people who have passed on and you want to honor them, that's a good way of honoring them is by making a personal altar for them. And don't be surprised if things get moved around on the altar, because a person that you're connecting to has come down to see what you're doing and to connect with you. Right? It would be really cool, huh? Yeah. So try that out. Again, this is the time to do it this week. Do it this week. Whether you keep the altar up or not, it's up to you. Some people keep their altars up all year round and add to them. You could do the same thing. And it's also like having a spirit plate too. Like we talked about spirit plates last week, where you only use one plate to give the fairies their honey, and you just use that plate. Well, you're using that space for the altar, and that's it. And so it makes it like, it gives it that kind of life. It gives it that kind of energy. Okay? So you'll notice too that if you use that plate over and over again for those fairies, that when that plate gets empty, it might get moved. Or it might rattle around when you walk past it. And then they're just going, hey, where's my condensed milk? So just know that about your altars. The altars may also, the more energy that you put into them, the more energy they carry with them. Okay? All right. So that's something to remember, because if you look online on YouTube, you'll see the tables too. The generations of families that use the tables that they use the tables for seances and things like that. Well, the energy goes into those seance tables and the tables will move. It's pretty cool. So try it, see if it works. Let me know a year from now what your altar is like and if it has changed on its own. Or if it has changed the energy of your home. Okay. All right. So the costumes, treats, and graveyards. These are the things that Halloween and Dia De Los Muertos, Halloween, hey Amy, Dia de los Muertos, Dia de los Inocencia, and All Souls Day have in common are the costumes, the treats, and the graveyards. So going in and clearing the graveyards is a big thing because you're honoring those people who have passed on. So you're going in and you're cleaning up their area, putting flowers or putting stones, because some people put stones on the gravestone. So, or pennies too. I saw this one gravestone. It had all pennies from years of people bringing pennies all on the top of the gravestone. And you think anybody mess with those pennies? No. Don't be messing with other people's pennies or stones. Don't be messing with graveyards. I knew these two guys in Hawaii. They were going up because they were artists and they were stealing gravestones. They were stealing the marble gravestones to take home to sculpt. Yikes. Don't do that, okay? Get your own marble. Go buy it yourself. There's plenty of it around. But don't do that. All right. So, you may see also with the Dia de los Muertos is that they'll do plays and things like that. Historical plays honoring their people, their heroes. The people that they see as that has greatness. So that's the other thing that they'll do. And we just talked about the altars for the past loved ones. So make sure that you do pick one specific place in your home for the altar. And the altar can also hold more than one picture. It can hold, say like you want one for your grandparents on both sides. You can put the pictures of your grandparents on both sides and things that that they were interested in. And place those out, okay? Some people have asked me, for kids and things like that. Yes, you can do it for your children. A lot of people do. They have pictures of their children who have passed on. And then you can place things that they liked as well on the altars for them. So make sure that you're paying attention to the altar. Make sure you go and dust it. Make sure you clean it. And make sure you keep it energetically clear so that it stays nice for them because you are actually honoring a soul who has passed on. Okay? Okay. So I've seen, I was in Virginia one time and there was this gal who she had made her family altar on the fireplace mantle, and she had candlesticks up there. And one of the people that was on the picture that was on that mantle did not want to be up there. And it would flip, the picture would flip off the mantle. And the candlestick candles fly off the altar. And so finally I just told her, I said, just take them off. Don't, just let them go, So, and it's not about you actually letting them go. It's about you remembering them and honoring them. So make sure that you remember that, that you're actually honoring them. You're not holding them. Okay? This is difference. All right? Because we want to make sure that our people who have passed on are free to go and move forward. So a lot of you asked me through readings in that, oh, my child died, or my brother died, and I miss him. And I'll get intuitively that soul wants to come back into this specific family, and they may end up being your niece, nephew, grandson, granddaughter. They may end up being one of your cousins. They may end up being somebody in your family. So pay attention to that as well. When the new ones come in, connect with them and see if you know them. Because it's very, it happens more often than you would think. Hi, Kelly. So, check that out, all right? So check your little people and see if you've known them from before, and if maybe you have known them in this lifetime and you get to know them again. How spectacular is that? Pretty darn awesome. Yeah. All right. Okay, so now these are the colors that, because people ask me about colors and their meaning and that. As far as Dia De Los Muertos, these are the colors that they use for the sugar skulls. We'll talk about the sugar skulls in a minute. Aren't they pretty? I mean, yeah, it's a skull, but if you've ever seen the real sugar skulls, they're really, really beautiful. And they're made out of sugar, so they do melt eventually. So, and they are works of art. So this is a sugar skull. This is as close as I could get to a sugar skull this year. Next year I'll get a real sugar skull and show you guys. But this is like the representation that I could get for right now. So the colors in the sugar skulls are purple, which represent pain, suffering, and grief. White, which represent purity and hope. Orange is the sun or light. Red is the blood of life. Yellow is the marigold petals. And the marigold petals are used to make a path to the altars so that the soul knows where to go. That's pretty cool, huh? So if you're making your altar, remember to go get some marigolds and make a path. See what happens. All right. So the sugar skulls themselves, when people buy sugar skulls, all right, each skull represents somebody. Okay? So what they do is they have the person's name written in the skull. All right, so that they know this representation is, thanks, Amy. So they know that this skull represents their sister, brother, mother, cousin, friend, whatever. So, and then the skull goes on the altar. All right. So now the name is, like I said, the name is written on the forehead, and it's placed on the altar or the gravestone. So wherever you're going to go. And you can get these sugar skulls, there are some people that actually collect them. Don't do that, because they're made out of sugar. Okay. and especially like if you live in a place where there's ants. So, leave it up for like a week and then go outside and break it and throw it in the trash. But make sure to break it. Okay? It's only because you're breaking up the energy of it. That's all. You're not breaking the bond between you and the person that you bought the skull for. Right? So anything that you use that you're creating energy with, you should break it. When you're done with it, break it. All right? It's because you're creating energy. And so when you want to release the energy, or you're done with it, you want the energy to dissipate. So no matter how much you love that crystal, that little sugar skull, and how pretty it is, break that thing. Besides, you don't want a bunch of ants. All right. Okay. So the sugar skull is placed on the altar, gravestone, to honor that particular spirit. All right. All right. So another person has asked me, why is there, the skulls? Why is it the skulls and then there's the flowers? The flowers are roses. They represent, see that there's a little flower there? So when you get the skulls, when you buy the skull, you'll see that there'll be like a rose here. This represents a rose. There's going to be a rose on that side, and above on the crown chakra, or the crown. All right. So skulls and roses represent duality. Okay. So it's life and death, beauty and decay, birth, rebirth. That's what they represent on the skulls. And that's why they're put on the skulls, so that you remember the duality of life. There's always going to be duality. That we're never ever going to not have it. Because everybody on planet Earth, we're all students, right? We're all learning. That's why we're here, is to learn. And so there will always be duality in our lives, whether we're acting dualistic or someone else is acting dualistic. On planet Earth, there will always be that. Okay? And it's up to you to decide whether you want to dig into it or not. You can, you can't, whatever. It's okay. So it's up to you to decide. Remember, it's your life, you choose. Okay, so anyway, I got this candle at the dollar store. I love the dollar store. It's so much fun. So starting October 31st, I'm going to light the candle and I'm going to keep it lit until either it burns out or November 2nd, whichever comes first. And when I light this candle, I'm going to put a sticky note on the back with the names of all the people I want to honor on the back of it, so that they know that I love them and I honor them and I cherish them. And you can do that too. Or you can take a blank candle, one of those white candles, and you can take a Sharpie and write on the candle like their names. Just write their names and light the candle and keep it burning until November 2nd. If you have to blow it out, that's okay. And then when you come home, light it again. Okay? Because we don't want it to snap, crackle, and pop or something. So that's what you can do with any candle. You can do that with to honor your dead. If you do not want to build an altar, or you don't have time, or you're not interested, but you're still interested in honoring your people who have passed on, light a candle for them. If you don't want to do it in your home, go to a church. Go to a Catholic church. Catholic church have those little candles everywhere. Go light a candle. Put $1 in the collection box for them, because that's what they're there for. Hey, Mark. So make sure, this week, this is the week for you to honor your people who have passed on, and this is one of the wonderful, cool ways to do that, so you can feel good, and maybe they'll visit, right? That would be fun, huh? Okay. All right. So next week is November. Yay! November is Giving Thanks Month and Being Grateful Month. Yeah. So we're going to talk about that in November. Like the first week of November, next week, we're going to talk about that. Gratitude. And we're going to talk about, what are you grateful for? Think about that this week. What are you grateful for? Yeah. Write it down. Say it out loud. Because when you write down what you're grateful for and you say it out loud, you start to glow. What happens when you glow? You attract in that which you are grateful for. So remember to take time this week to honor your people who have passed on and think about what you are grateful for. And when you're thinking about what you're grateful for, feel that. Feel that gratitude, that just let it flow through you and all around you. And you're going to see that your resonance rises and that you feel better. Yeah? Yeah. All right. So it's been fun spending time with you. I love doing that. Yay! So, everyone, have a wonderful week. Yeah? And remember to keep your hearts open and align with the energy of love. Good night.